Visual messages are any form of communication that uses images, graphics, videos, or any other form of visual cue to convey a message. Visual messages are powerful tools for communication as they convey information quickly and effectively. They are used in various forms. The main advantage of visual messages is that they are easily accessible and can be quickly understood by the audience. They do not require the same level of cognitive processing as text-based messages, and they can convey emotions and feelings that are difficult to express in words. The use of color, design, and layout can also impact the audience's perception and engagement with the message. Visual messages come in many different forms, and they can be divided into 3 categories: static, motion, and interactive. Visual messages can also be enhanced through the use of technology. Augmented reality (AR) and virtual reality (VR) are examples of technology that can be used to create immersive visual messages. AR can be used to overlay information on real-world objects, while VR can be used to create a fully immersive experience. What is really important? Human eye can perceive motion in a sequence of still images presented at a rate of approximately 10 to 12 images per second. To create the illusion of smooth motion in a film or video, the standard frame rate is typically 24 frames per second, FPS. The human eye does not see a specific number of pictures per second but rather perceives motion in a sequence of still images. 24 frames per second is a commonly used standard in film and video production to create the illusion of smooth motion.
In 1957, James Vickery claimed to have conducted an experiment on subliminal advertising in a movie theater. The experiment involved flashing the words "drink Coca-Cola" and "eat popcorn" for a single frame, lasting 1/3000th of a second, during a movie screening. The frames were inserted into the movie at a rate of 24 frames per second, which means that each frame with the subliminal message was shown for about 1/125th of a second. According to Vickery's claims, the experiment resulted in an increase in sales of Coca-Cola and popcorn at the movie theater concession stand. Vickery reported that Coca-Cola sales increased by 18.1% and popcorn sales increased by 57.8% as a result of the subliminal messages. The validity of Vickery's claims has been highly debated, and many researchers have been skeptical of the experiment's results. Some critics have suggested that Vickery's claims were exaggerated or even completely fabricated. There are several reasons why the experiment's results may not be reliable. First, the experiment was not conducted under controlled conditions, and there is no record of how many people were exposed to the subliminal messages or how the messages were delivered. Second, the sample size of the experiment was small, and there was no control group to compare the results to. Third, the experiment was never replicated under controlled conditions, and subsequent attempts to replicate the experiment have produced mixed results. Despite the controversy surrounding the experiment, it is widely believed that subliminal advertising can influence people's behavior and attitudes to some extent. This is because subliminal messages can bypass people's conscious awareness and affect their subconscious mind. It is important to note that subliminal advertising is not a foolproof method of persuasion, and there are many factors that can influence people's behavior. The experiment carried out by James Vickery in 1957 involved flashing the words "drink Coca-Cola" and "eat popcorn" for a single frame during a movie screening. While Vickery claimed that the experiment resulted in an increase in sales of Coca-Cola and popcorn, the validity of his claims has been highly debated. Regardless of the results of the experiment, it is widely believed that subliminal advertising can influence people's behavior and attitudes to some extent. It is important to conduct such experiments under controlled conditions and adhere to ethical guidelines to ensure that participants are not being exploited or harmed in any way.